Hello, pandas of the internet. My name is Pandachan. I am a full-time artist-ish, a part-time cosplayer, and someone who is so happy to be back and excited to be making new content. In today's horror story, we will encounter a player who doesn't really want to follow the plot. So, if you're ready, sit back, relax, and let's get into it. This RPG horror story was posted by Violet Quartz. Cleric would rather build a library instead of saving children. This happened about 6 years ago, so forgive me for being a touch fuzzy on the details. Names are changed, naturally. Important people. Me, half-elf shifter, who was, at the beginning of the campaign, a child. I was the newest member of the group. Joe, human cleric of a homebrew god, the problem player, later arrival to the game, and actual real-life Christian. This matters. Vicky, the DM, who now happens to be my wife. We were not yet together at this time. A bit of background info. At this time, this was my core group, as well as my first group. They were accustomed to playing Pathfinder to the extent that it was all they played. Vicky, the only one who played other systems, convinced them to try 5e with a short homebrewish campaign. It started out being lots of fun, with everyone learning the game and exploring the mechanics together. Then Joe decided he wanted to play. The group met once a week, but Joe only showed up a couple of times every few months. He and Vicky did not get along well because his religious beliefs were, let's just say, not compatible with certain aspects of Vicky's identity. Unfortunately, we met at the home of another member, and he had final say over who was allowed to join the table. I know, this should have been enough to send us running, but it was a complicated situation. Suffice to say, we left eventually. Joe didn't bother to really listen to anyone else's character info. He already had an idea of his own. He wanted to play a human cleric of some god of knowledge that he invented and basically amounted to Jesus but books. Vicky liked to give people the benefit of the doubt when it came to character creation, so she allowed it. He was introduced as a traveling priest who was passing through the town the rest of the party stayed in. With a full party, the first big quest kicked off. To keep it short, children from nearby villages were being kidnapped and drugged into slavery, then being used to commit acts of violence for a shady criminal organization. All of us were immediately on board with going to rescue them, especially me, since I was at risk of being targeted by the organization. All of us except, you guessed it, Joe. Joe felt that his god was calling him to build a library in the god's honor right now. So he brought this up out of character and pitched it as an alternative to saving the children. The rest of us kindly but firmly said that kids took priority and that maybe the library could wait until after. Joe huffed and reiterated that his god was commanding him to do this now, and he couldn't defy his god. Note that this was all coming from Joe, not Vicky. Vicky stepped in and said that Joe was welcome to split off from the party, but that his choices would have consequences. She also advised him that the location we were at was not ideal for a library due to low traffic. 3 guesses what he chose to do. He made a big deal about how he was getting logs and starting to build this magnificent library to celebrate his deity. Clearly, he expected us all to follow him or something, because when we didn't, he got mad and quit the game altogether, because we didn't respect him or his ideas. Right, of course, that's totally what you were doing and not just following the plot. This was not the first time Joe rage quit because we didn't go along with his Joe-centric ideas that had nothing to do with the game we were playing, but it was the last. To my knowledge, he never joined another game with that group. Vicky and I ran into him a year or so ago while he was working at a gas station. He gave us both the cold shoulder. I view this as a positive. Edit, to clarify, because some people are saying that the concept is interesting. It could have been, but Joe was, as someone in the comments put it, aggressively boring. He had zero concept of nuance, which is what made it all suck so bad. Gods above and hells below. I could use this as a commentary on religion as a whole, but I don't think I would have anything constructive to say. It would be an amazing plot if his god was an unknown one, and that it's why he wanted to build a temple for them to be more well recognized. But that could have been input into the narrative with the help of the DM, not shoehorned in just because he didn't want to go along with the main quest. I hope you and Vicky are still playing TTRPGs, and I hope you are playing with better people than that. But with that, we come to the end of the horror story. Leave me a like, subscribe, and in the comments let me know what is the best homebrew deity you have encountered in a campaign. I am a big fan of Mnemonis, which we also call Mayo, the shape-shifting god of chaos and nature, mostly because of how absurd their shape-shifting can be. The link to the original story is in the description, so go give it a read. You can find my social media links down below as well, and with all of that being said, I will see you next time.